All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Q7 install video. Today we are continuing with the Overland modifications by brightening up the trail a little bit. And as you guys know, in my last video, I did install the Eurowise roof rack, and this bad boy is sweet. And naturally, we got it configured with a light bar cutout. So the next logical thing to install on the Q7 is a light bar. So I actually had to wait a couple of days because the light bar that I ordered did not come with a wiring harness. So I do apologize on the delay on making another video here. But we do have everything now. This is a dual color light bar, so I've got a dual color switch. And this is very, very temporary for now. Like, this was a $15 harness, and I'll have both of these linked in the description if you want to go pick them up, because I did get them on Amazon. Because we are going to be installing a aux beam setup in here, because I'm gonna have ditch lights. I'm gonna have like what the Overland guys call scene lights, which are the ones that we're gonna mount to the sides of the roof rack. We're gonna raise the awning at some point because I'm trying to find a rooftop tent at the moment, but I've had a couple of deals fall through, so working on getting one of those, and I don't want to pay full price for an iCamper. So we're gonna show you guys how to do the setup in here. Now, one thing that I will preface when I am installing like the little relay box and the fuse and the power and everything, like I said initially, this is a temporary thing until I get the aux beam setup figured out. And I do have all of the emission stuff deleted in here, so I do have a lot of real estate over in the driver's side or the left-hand side of the engine bay. So I am going to be able to mount things and run things a little bit differently than some of you guys that would have your emission stuff intact, because I just don't have the sensors for the DPF or the EGR or any of that stuff anymore. We're going to also do a little bit of modifying here, because this light bar that I ordered does only come with spade connectors, and since I am going to be overlanding this thing and like ripping it through puddles, and I live in Vancouver, British Columbia, where it rains 90% of the year, and I am going to be jumping this thing through huge puddles and whatnot, so we just kind of don't want things to fail. So I do have this from my LS swap build, which is like a Deutsch connector kit, just to kind of waterproof all the connections and stuff. So I'm going to swap those over on the wiring harness as well as the light bar. I don't really know if I need to show you guys how to do that, because obviously that's specific to if you want to do that. You can just run the spade connectors depending on where you are. But yeah, I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to show you guys how to run the wiring on the Q7, because it's actually super simple for being a European car. And I do have a buddy, and shout out Ryder, who lives in a different part of the same province as me in Canada, where he was saying that you can just kind of pull the window trim off and you have more than enough real estate to run a wire down along here. And it will have obviously this little short bit up here where you're going to have a wire running into this weather stripping or the weather seal. And it hides the wire pretty well, so we're just going to do that. But yeah, so I'm going to set up the Deutsch connectors first, and then we're going to go ahead and mount the light bar up on the roof rack, and then we will run the cabling, test it out, and then do the final tuck, and we'll show you guys just how clean we can make this setup on a Q7 that was never designed to go off-road. So here we go. And take our sweet ass time doing this. Now, obviously I should probably get myself a pair of like actual crimping electrical pliers. It would probably make my life a whole lot easier and a lot faster, but away she goes. 3 more to go. Why is it not sticking in there? What the? Ah, I know why. Oopsies. Made a mistake. Accidentally folded down the locking pins. Okay, so we've got all of them in there now. We're just gonna pop the waterproof things in here. I'm actually gonna cut the harness back a little bit more. Okay, so there's one, the male side or female side, and then we're gonna do the male side once we figure out the length of the harness. So let's run some cabling. So we're gonna go ahead with once we are done this end, we will go ahead and test everything out and make sure it all works before I run the last bit of cabling. Make sure the buttons and stuff work. We're just gonna snip these guys all off. And honestly, I'm so happy I get to do this one outside of the car. Some of our little plugs here. Line everything up here. So black is gonna be in the middle. Red is gonna be on this side. And white, which is yellow, is gonna be on the far side. And we're gonna go ahead and put our retaining clip back in. All right, make sure everything clips in. Oh, hold on, try that again. Okay, all connected. Gonna connect it to the battery and let's see if this thing works. Whoa, The switches are on. Damn, that shit bright as hell. All right, hold on. Let me put the bolt on the battery here, the power. Let's get a solid connection so you can see how bright this thing is. I'm gonna turn the car on too so that we're not killing the battery. All right, let's see how bright this thing is. All right, so there's just the white LEDs, the ambers, which are more like incandescent. Fuck, that's bright. And then it's funny because you can like strobe them if you just like click them on and then just tap the button. There's both of them. I'm like jingling the wire and it's like kind of a bit like flickering a little bit. I think it's just the switch though, because if like I barely touch the buttons a little bit, like not even like pushing them in all the way, just kind of like, I don't know. The switch isn't too fantastic, but that shouldn't be anything too hard to change, but they work, so that's mint. So we're gonna go ahead with, first we're gonna mount the relay box. And so in here is where all the sensors and stuff for like the DPF and the CATs, all the O2s and EGT stuff is, or I think, or like a NOx or NOx box. Anyways, so we're gonna mount it. There's a stud right here where one of them mounted to. So we're actually just gonna go ahead and we're gonna mount the relay box there. So it's just a little dual relay box. Like I said, this is very temporary. This isn't gonna be here forever. And luckily for us, we can also use this as our ground because that little frame piece there is grounded to the chassis. So we're gonna go ahead and use that as our ground as well. Just gonna slap that in there and then put the D-ring over that. And then since we don't have the cabling set up to run directly to the battery yet, there is a terminal. I'll take you guys off the tripod here. There is a terminal right up here in the jump start position. So we're just gonna actually hook it up to this one here. I've already pre-loosened this, so don't think that that was just on there hand tight. So we're gonna throw the positive on there once we're ready to go, but because we don't have anything run yet, we're not gonna do it. So we're just gonna kind of leave that ready to go. And now I'm gonna show you guys how we are going to run up the driver's side to our light bar. Okay, so we need to route through the firewall now, thanks to some handy dandy Reddit user, or not Reddit user, the Audi World Forum user. We've gone ahead and taken the rain cowl off. I didn't take this wiper off because I couldn't get it to come loose. I don't have a proper removal tool. So I've gone ahead and taken this wiper off so I can just kind of get it off enough here. So now down in here, the easiest way to get it is you see this little grommet right here with that plug. You're gonna cut that plug back as far as you need in regards to getting your cable in. Now, that would be, where has it gone? This guy here. So I've cut the connector off of it as well because I'm not gonna be able to fit the connector obviously through that grommet. And then it's kind of just dealer's choice how you wanna route it. I obviously don't wanna like cut the fuse grommet here to be able to get this through the firewall. So I'm basically just gonna route it underneath the engine weather stripping through this little hole right here, around the fuse box, and then up in through there. So I'm gonna quickly do that and then I'll show you guys how I have that routed. Now obviously if you do get the rain cowl off, it's probably a lot easier for the routing, like fully get the rain cowl off, I mean. But we're gonna try and run this as cleanly as we can. And luckily for us, once we do the aux beam setup, we can use this wire as like a pull through, which would be nice. Try to see if I can't get this to come up through here somewhere. Come on, man. Oh, there we go. Okay, rotate this back over, and then let's see if we can cut that grommet open a wee bit in there. I'm not gonna be able to show you guys. I won't get a good enough angle to be able to do that, so my apologies in advance. Okay, so we've got the wire fed through. Hopefully you guys can see that on the camera if it will focus in there. We've got the signal wire through. So let's have a look on the inside here and see if we can't see it, which I don't know if you'll be able to see up there. Let me see if I can zoom in. Way up there. If on camera, I can see what I'm pointing at, or if when I'm editing, when I can see what I'm pointing at, I will circle it, and that's where it's coming through. So that is just above the accelerator pedal behind this whole big mess of wires up here. And then you can just pull that through. Grab the needle nose, see if I can grab that. Yep, okay, and we are pulling. So I don't need a ton of slack, but I'm gonna go ahead and give me enough because I'm gonna have to do another Deutsch connector down here and it's gonna have to be a 4-pin, so that'll be fun. So Since most of you probably aren't going to be repinning this, or you might need to, I'm just actually going to go ahead and repin this off camera because this is going to be a fun one again because I'm going to have to sit in the car and do it, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, I may have accidentally jumped the gun and I'm not going to put it back just to show you guys how to get it off, but I was fiddling around with the trim thing here, and like I said, there's more than enough space to put a cable up in here, and essentially what you're going to do is you're just going to take like something like this, or even like a flat guy, and stick it under here, and you're just going to lift, and it's like a whole rail, and this just kind of like pulls out. It's going to be wet and obviously dirty, so be prepared for that. I did just kind of run the extra cable, I guess the cable for the light bar, up through the same spot that I did with the one that runs into the grommet through the firewall, which goes around here and is all tucked and everything. And I did put the weather stripping back on with the wiper cowl and the wipers and everything. And so now the lead runs up here and goes underneath this little rubber bit. And hopefully you guys can see what I'm touching. So this kind of just pulls out. And then, like I showed you guys, this pulls up and it's just tucked under here. And then it runs up here. Like I haven't done anything fancy to make it come out here. Like maybe I'll cut out a little bit of this so I can push the strip down a little bit more, but we'll look into that. But now let's get the light bar up here and make some adjustments. And then we'll see how this thing looks at night. But all the wiring is done. Super simple. We'll make sure it all still works once we get it up there as well. But I'll put you guys on the tripod and we'll install the light bar. Should make my life a lot easier by using a DAC. Is that like a Canadian thing? Like, do other people call like electric ratchets and stuff DACs? I don't know. Do the other side really quick. Okay. We'll leave all this stuff up here so we can maybe adjust it if we need to. And I think I'm gonna need side cutters to cut that zap strap as well. And then I'm gonna need all my bolts, which, surprise, surprise, they're all rusty already. Ain't that something funny? Let's at least get one started so this doesn't go flying off here in case the wind decides to pick up. Go to the other side. It'd be really funny if I did all this and then the wiring wasn't long enough. Could you imagine? Ow, fuck. Okay, so now I'm gonna deal with the wiring in a second. It's really funny because I think the wiring might not be long enough. I swear to God if it doesn't fit. Let me tighten down everything else first though. Actually, no, I think it'll be long enough. Let's see. Yeah, for sure it's gotta be long enough. Why does this look really mangled already? So now I have to figure out how we're gonna route the wire, and I think the easiest thing to do is gonna be to open the sunroof from the inside. But let's make sure that it turns on first before I fully commit. Doing everything here. If I can't even reach. I think it's on. I can see it up against the thing. Yeah, she works. So I'm gonna figure out the wiring. I'll show you guys, and then we'll test it out when it's a little bit darker out and see how bright it is. Okay, so it's a little bit darker out. I'm gonna fire up the Q7. Oh my God, I love that my key does that. We're gonna go for a little test here out in Mexico. Okay, so this is just my headlights and my yellow fog lights on, but let's put on the regular light bar. Oh, there's the yellow light bar. You can't really tell. I had to go somewhere where it's dark, try it out. Okay, so I was just kamikazed into by a bird. I don't know what kind of bird it was, but that was something that I will not be showing you guys. So we're going to just park in this little area right here. We're gonna test the brightness of the light bar. So this is, here's just my headlights. Here's my high beams, and then we'll turn the high beams off, and now we'll put the light bar on. I think it could definitely probably be pointed a little bit more up, but I also want to note that I am aimed downhill a little bit. So that's the regular white light bar. There's the yellows. The yellows is a little bit more of a flood, and there's both. And then if we put my white fog lights on as well, that's quite a bit of light. Oh, and it's getting brighter. Interesting. It's pretty dang bright. So there's just the light bar. Running lights, yellows, light bar, and now headlights on with the fogs. I'm gonna hop out and show you guys how bright it all is from the front, because I know it's gonna be insanely bright. God damn, that's like a collapsed sun.
Holy shit, that's fucking bright. Yep, not bad. Now we just need to lift it, ladies and gentlemen, and put bigger tires on it. Love it. Like there it is, fully on, just driving down a simulated FSR. The white lights are pretty spot, like they're not very flood, so I might want to change the bar out at some point, but they are bright as shit, so that's a bonus for us for off-road. Yeah, I should probably turn these off going on the road. Those aren't legal. Actually, one more time for shits and giggles. Pretty damn bright. Light bar is on. It makes the Q7 look friggin' sweet from the front. Definitely adds a lot of Overland-esque to the Audi. So thank you guys for watching once again. If you guys do want to pick up the light bar or want to know about the harness or anything that I used, and I'll maybe link the connectors and the tools that I use in order to do everything all in the description, and that will be all available on Amazon. But thank you guys for checking out the light bar install. Stay tuned for the lift install, and then we're going to be putting new tires and everything on it. But thank you. Peace out. I'll see you in the next video.